Hey everyone, this is Alex or PolymomoTea, and today I have a new tutorial. I know, I'm finally back, and it's making these 6 different popsicles out of polymer clay and resin, and they're all different designs. So first we're going to make the template, so we're going to take some scrap clay and we're going to roll it out into a fat cylinder shape. And next we're going to flatten it out, making sure it's a little bit rounded. And once flat, we're going to take our blade and cut it. And using the needle tool, we're just going to make 2 indents on the top, flip it over, and make 2 more indents on the back. Then just cut off the end again to make it straight. And here is our plain popsicle. Then we're going to take one bite out of it, so I'm using my blade and cutting out a little square. And using my needle tool, I'm just making indents in there so it looks like bite marks. And then for the melting one, we're just going to cut it at a slant at the top. And we're going to bake it in the oven and make our little templates. And once they're baked, we're going to make our little mold with our mold maker. To make the popsicle sticks, we're going to take some vanilla polymer clay and roll it out into a thin snake and then flatten it out. And then bake it according to instructions, and we have a bunch of popsicle sticks. So next we're going to make our resin mixture. So in 6 different wells, I'm adding some UV resin and I'm adding different colors. So we're making a red mixture, an orange mixture, a yellow mixture, a green mixture, a blue mixture, and a purple mixture. So next we're going to make the melting ice cream one. So this is the rainbow colored one. So I'm adding some red resin into the mold and letting that cure. Next we're going to add orange. Let that cure as well. Then I'm adding a layer of yellow. And we're going to add a popsicle stick at this point because we want to add it in about 2/3 into the mold. So before we cure the yellow resin, we're going to add the popsicle stick and cure it under the UV lamp. And here it is. Next, we're going to add a layer of green, then a layer of blue, and finally a layer of purple. And once fully cured, we're just going to take it out of our mold. And we have the most perfect rainbow. So next on my silicone mold, we're just going to add some red resin, some orange resin, and yellow resin. And I made it into like a puddle. And we're going to put some resin on top and lay the flat part of our ice cream, our popsicle, onto our little resin puddle and cure that. So now it looks like it's melting, which is the perfect effect that I was hoping for. The popsicle stick is a little bit slanted, but oh well. So I have these pre-made polymer clay face details. So I'm going to add 2 little dots of resin for eyes and 1 for the mouth. And add these pre-baked clay eyes. So these are X's because this ice cream is melting. And then a smiley face, but we're going to make it upside down. Then we're going to take our UV resin and glaze it. And here's the popsicle all glazed, and it looks so good. Honestly, this is the intended effect that I wanted, and I'm so happy with it. So next we're going to use the regular popsicle mold, and we're going to make the watermelon. So I'm taking some red resin and I'm smearing it on just one surface of the mold. And I have these little black teardrop shapes for the seeds, and we're going to add it into our mold just where the resin was smeared. Then once we cure that, we're gonna add our red resin and we're gonna add our popsicle stick and let that cure. And here is the watermelon with the stick inside. Next, we're gonna make a little mixture of white resin and add a thin layer into our mold and let that cure as well. And then we want to top it off with some green resin. Let that cure as well and take it out of our mold. And we have a perfect watermelon. So we're gonna add our little dots of resin to add on our faces. So I'm gonna give a dot eye on one side and then one of those like V eyes on the other. So it's kind of like winking. And a line smile for the mouth. And it looks so cute already. And next we're gonna add our UV resin glaze and let that cure and see the shininess of our watermelon. It's so pretty. So next we're gonna do the bubble tea one. So we're gonna use the whole popsicle mold again, and we're gonna add white resin onto the tip and let that cure. Next we're gonna add some white pigment to our purple resin, making kind of a thicker opaque mixture. And we're gonna add it to our mold and add our popsicle stick. Let that cure again. We're gonna add some more purple resin this time and leave about a fourth of it empty. And once that's cured, we're gonna add our purple resin, but this time we're gonna add little balls of black clay for the little tapioca pearls, and we're gonna add it to our resin and let that cure. And we're gonna take it out of our mold. And here's our bubble tea popsicle. So we're gonna give it our little dots of resin for the face. Give it some dot eyes. And a line smile. And we're gonna give it a glaze. I just love how the tapioca pearls show up so much better with the glaze. It looks so cute. I think I should have added a little straw on top though, but I'm so happy with it. So we're gonna add some white pigment to our red and blue resin mixtures, and it's because we're gonna make the firecracker. Now we're gonna take the mold where there's a little bite into, and we're gonna start with the blue. I know it's supposed to start with red, but I had too many red popsicles. So we're doing blue and letting that cure. And I did a layer of white resin. And we're gonna add our popsicle stick in there. Let that cure. And we're gonna top it off with some red. And let that cure again. And take it out of the mold. And it has the perfect bite shape. I'm so happy with this popsicle. Now we're gonna add the little face. So we're gonna add some V eyes. And it's because it just got bitten into, so you know, it's very distressed. And then a line frown. And a layer of glaze to make it nice and shiny. And here it is. It looks so good. It has that opaque effect that the other popsicles didn't, so it's kind of like a real popsicle, honestly. For the next one, we're going to use the same mold where it's bitten into, and we're going to add half green resin, and we're going to add the popsicle stick in there and let that cure. And this is kind of Sprite inspired, so we added some yellow resin to finish it off and let that cure. And it looks a little plain now because it's just green and yellow. But wait, we're gonna add a layer of glaze first. And I have this fake sugar, which is like little crushed white rocks. And we're just gonna place it into that fake sugar and let that cure under the UV lamp. And now it has a really cool texture. So we're gonna add the same thing on the back and the sides. and throw it into our little fake rock or fake sugar collection. And now we're gonna add some eyes to it. So this also got a bite into it. So we're gonna give it some X eyes. And we're gonna give it a frown. And then we're just gonna use our glaze to glaze everywhere. And here is our little Sprite popsicle, and I think the texture makes it look super cool. I'm so happy with this one too. So our last popsicle is a gradient popsicle. So we're gonna start with a clear layer of resin. Then we're gonna add slightly bluer resin mixtures and letting that cure. And with each layer, we're gonna make it a little bit more blue. About 2 or 3 layers in, we're gonna add our popsicle stick and let that cure. And for the last layer, we're just gonna make it extra blue, like a nice dark deep blue color, and top it off. And once cured, we're gonna take off our resin creation out of the mold, and we're gonna give it some facial features. So of course, some dot eyes, and our line smile, and a layer of glaze. It doesn't look like much right now because it's in a blue background, but it looks cool, trust me. And I know it's not like a nice blending gradient, but it's a gradient nonetheless, and I really am content with the way it turned out. And with that, we have all 6 of our popsicles completed. And to be honest, I'm in love with all of the designs, but let me know in the comment section below which one was your favorite, and thank you all for watching. And thanks for waiting for me